The desert was silent. Too silent. Elena's heart pounded in her chest as she clutched her children's hands, her mind racing. It had all seemed so simple. A better life. A safe future. But now, under the brutal desert sun, Elena realized something far more terrifying. Carlos, the man she had trusted with her children's lives, had abandoned them. They were alone in a place where survival was no guarantee. The smuggler's promise was a lie. And in the heart of the desert, betrayal could be a death sentence. Elena had heard the stories, the promises of a better life across the border. She had seen it in the eyes of those who made it. It was a dream she couldn't let go of. A mother's love, driven by the desire to protect her children from the violence, the pain, the constant fear that had consumed her life since her husband's death. Carlos, the smuggler, had come into her life like a savior. He promised them a smooth journey, a way out, a new beginning. But Elena had no idea what price she would have to pay. When she handed over the last of her savings, she trusted him completely, believing he would see them safely to the other side. She never imagined that the man who was supposed to lead them to freedom was leading them into the darkest passage of their lives. It didn't take long for Elena to realize something was wrong. The first sign came when Carlos, who had promised to be with them every step of the way, vanished. The group of immigrants, anxiety-ridden, exhausted, and afraid, found themselves abandoned in the desolate desert. Elena's heart sank. No one knew where Carlos had gone. Worse yet, they had no map, no guidance. With every step, the hope of reaching safety began to fade. The water supply dwindled, and the sun began to scorch their skin. It was a silent, creeping dread that gripped Elena. Carlos had left them to die. The realization hit Elena like a punch to the stomach. Carlos hadn't just made a mistake. He had planned this betrayal all along. He had taken their money, promising them escape, only to leave them stranded in the most dangerous place on earth. But Elena couldn't let herself give in to despair. She had to fight. She had to find a way to survive, for her children. She began questioning the other travelers, piecing together their broken stories, hoping to find some way out. And then, just as they reached the brink of collapse, Elena saw it, faint lights in the distance. Were they real? Could it be a mirage? Was it just another cruel illusion? She could feel her legs giving way beneath her, but with her children barely able to walk, she pushed forward. As the lights grew clearer, her heart raced. Were they safe? Or was this just another cruel joke? Her feet dragging, her breath shallow, Elena stumbled toward the lights. She had to make it. She had to. Suddenly, a figure emerged. Border Patrol agents. Real. Alive. Elena's body went limp with relief, her knees buckling beneath her. They had made it. But Carlos. He was nowhere to be found. Elena had trusted him, and now, she learned that Carlos was part of a larger network of smugglers, predators who had been abandoning families like hers for years, leaving them to perish in the desert. The Border Patrol officers revealed the full extent of his betrayal. Carlos had led them into the heart of the desert, where most would have died. His smuggling ring was notorious for taking money from desperate families, only to leave them stranded in a lawless place, to fend for themselves. Elena clung to her children as they were transported to safety, but the weight of Carlos's betrayal would never leave her. She had survived, but it had come at a steep price. The journey had cost them everything. Her savings, her trust, and almost their lives. But in that moment, Elena knew one thing for certain. They were alive. Against all odds, they had made it. It wasn't the escape she had dreamed of, but it was a second chance. And she would fight for that chance, no matter what. This is the story of a mother's strength, of survival, and the deadly cost of trusting the wrong people. It's a tale of betrayal, of hope, and of the darkness that lives at the border. You've just witnessed one of the darkest passages in this world, one that happens every day, unseen, unheard, and forgotten by most. This is the Dark Passages, the Border Crime Files.